Welcome, everybody. Dean of DVD. I am staying inside. I'm doing my social distancing as much as I can. And certainly with the family members, I get within 6 feet. But anybody else, I haven't been in 6 feet of anybody in a couple months anyway. So I've got a top 10 list. People love my Criterion videos probably better than anything else. And so I'm going to do a top 10 Criterion films from my collection that are documentaries. So it's my top 10 favorite. And I'm looking at my list here. I'm looking at the stack of things I have, and I think I'm pretty satisfied with the list. I've changed it around a few times, but ultimately I think I'm happy with what I've come up with. So let me go. Top 10. The top number 10 is a documentary on a music festival. Before there was Woodstock, before there was Monterey Pop, before there was any other festivals, there was the Newport Folk Music Festival. This is a documentary of the goings-on, performances and such, from 1963 to 1966. It's called Festival. Yeah. It's pretty cool. It has people like Bob Dylan, Pete Seeger, the Staples Singers, Johnny Cash, Peter, Paul and Mary, and others, many others. And some of their pictures are Howlin' Wolf is on here. You can see a young Dylan. Joan Baez is on here. Quite a few different artists. There's Johnny Cash up there. All captured in the 4 years. 4 years that he visited, and by he I mean the director Murray Lerner, who was not only directed it but photographed it as well in many cases. Comes with a nice looking disc, which I'll pop out for a moment to show Pete Seeger singing here, and Mary Travers from Peter, Paul and Mary. I think that's Mary Travers. And then there's a booklet. Joan Baez on the back. She's also on here. And a lot of pages, about 40 pages. It is 40 pages, exactly. Little biographies of various artists like Bob Dylan and so on. Donovan as well. Is here, Mike Bloomfield. A lot of people here at this jazz festival. I'm sorry, at this folk festival. Let's see if any other names pop out of me. I mentioned Howlin' Wolf. Oh, Johnny Cash. The Staples Singers, the Freedom Singers. Mike Bloomfield. Who else? Judy Collins, Donovan, Bob Dylan, Joe Baez. Pete Seeger, Buffy St. Marie, Peter, Paul and Mary. Yeah, that's about it. And there's other people too, but you won't know all of them. Jug bands and things like that. But it's well worth seeing. And it's well worth my number 10 spot as a documentary. That is Festival at number 10. Now, number 9, totally different direction. And this is a film by Al Reinert. And it is from 1989, the film. It's 80 minutes long. It's called For All Mankind. And it's a documentary on the landing, people who set foot on the moon, who went to the moon and who landed on the moon. So it's all the like 14 or something astronauts. Let's see here. It's the story of all the men, 24. Wow, I was off. 24 men who traveled to the moon. From Neil Armstrong to whoever the last one was, I don't know. I have seen this a couple times. It's well worth it. Show a lot of behind the scenes things. Again, you've got the nice disc. There's a Blu-ray. The other one's a Blu-ray too. See if the picture's worth, if there's what's behind her is worth showing. Let's picture the moon. And pretty cool. And we got a nice booklet. It's like another pretty thick booklet. Maybe about 35 pages. I'm in the ballpark, yeah. A lot of great pictures in here. That's number 9. Spine 54. Number 8 is on DVD. You can get it on Blu-ray, but I didn't find the need to get it on Blu-ray. Yeah, this is a nice film. It's got audio commentaries and so on, but it's a film about... I love this concept here. They filmed it over a 5-year period, and they took 2 basketball players who were in high school at the time and tracked them from their high school days through their college days, and then their hopes to become members of the NBA, which is a very difficult road. You could be the best player in your town, the best player in your state, and you still might not make the NBA. Hoop dreams. I'm not going to tell you the names of the athletes because then you'll know if they made the pros or not. The inside has no pictures, but there is a nice booklet. The disc looks nice too. Hoop dreams. DVD, as I said. A nice book, about 45 pages. 37 pages. Okay, I was close. It shows the 2 would-be stars, their families, their hopes and dreams. A lot of talk about what they want to do when they make their millions, how they're going to help their mother out and buy her a house and all this good stuff. Hoop Dreams. Highly recommend it. Number 7 is a film by one of my favorite directors, who never was able to really do what he wanted to do, except for one time. Did the studios let him do what he wanted to do? That was on his first film. I'm talking about Orson Welles, and the movie is F for Fake. Interesting documentary that Orson Welles did on the whole idea of fakery. People who put one over on the public, at least for a period of time. Talk about art forgers, fake biographers. So a lot of things about the difference between truth and illusion. He himself was into magic, Orson Welles, and fakerism. In fact, you could say that the whole movie is, in some ways, a fake. You have to watch it, see what I'm talking about. But F for Fake. Yeah. Directed by Orson Welles. And not only directed by, but he himself is the spokesperson, the narrator, if you will. Next. Let's see. Number 6. Yep. Number 6 is interesting. It's by the males. I never can get this name right. Maisels. The Maisels. 2 brothers that film. Remember those 2 brothers. Yeah, Albert and David Maisel. This is Grey Gardens, and also the Beals of Grey Gardens. But really, Grey Gardens is the film I'm talking about. It's a film about interesting couple, both Big and Little Edie Beal, hence the Beals. They are related they're related to Jackie Onassis, I should say, or Jackie Bouvier, before she became Kennedy. So they are parts of the Bouvier family, but they had ties to the White House through Jacqueline. And interesting because they lived in what I guess was considered a mansion at one point, or at least a well-to-do home, but it's run down. It's in the Hamptons. Again, what should be a mansion, but it's dreadful, as you'll see if you watch this movie. Yeah, it's Edith Bouvier Beal and her daughter Edie. Interesting. Grey Gardens. I don't even know where to go on this. This Edie, at one point in her younger days, she was attractive. Supposedly dated one of the great recluses, Howard Hughes, of our time. Just a very odd movie, but I really enjoyed it. Number 5. Yeah, number 5 is a movie. Robert Drew is the director here, and by Robert Drew of Associates. The film is. It is a Blu-ray. It documents the Kennedy years in the White House, from the primary, which is one of the movies, to Adventures, The New Frontier, Crisis, that would be the Cuban Missile Crisis, and then finally The Faces of November. It's a shorter documentary it's about 12 minutes long, I think, of people's reaction in Dallas and other places once they learned of the Kennedy assassination. Oh, there we are. Look at that. We don't want that. Okay. There we go. Again, this one has a great looking disc. Probably from the primary, I'm guessing. And a great booklet. About 25 pages worth. Again, a lot of good pictures in it. Were taken over the course of making these documentaries, and there are a bunch of documentaries here. There's Crisis. See, this guy was granted like total access. Here's just some pictures, still shots from Faces of November. It was a very somber time in the history of the country, as you might imagine. There's another picture. So, really like it. It's done well. It really almost like behind the scenes type of footage. Stuff you haven't seen before, I'm sure. If you're a fan of John F. Kennedy, as I am, I'm guessing you'd really like this documentary. Let me turn this a little bit further. Oh, yeah, there we go. Get rid of my image entirely on there, unless I go too far with this. Okay, this will work. All right. Number 4. Another movie. Well, this movie was done in the 70s. 74, maybe? 1974. 112 minutes long. It's in color. This is by Peter Davis. It's a landmark 1974 documentary called Hearts and Minds. It's interesting how we've got on one side the Vietnamese and then the American Army. You can flip that around if you want and get the same kind of thing upside down. I'm not sure the American Army is put in the best light here in this movie, but maybe the most accurate light. It's a story about the Vietnam War, about America's involvement, the controversy surrounding their involvement, the protests that went on, President Johnson's reaction, before that President Kennedy's reaction to what was going on there. Yeah, this contains a Blu-ray and 2 DVDs. It's a dual format. I got quite a few dual formats. It's Hearts and Minds. Number 4. Number 3, a really quirky movie, similar to the Grey Gardens. This is a film by Terry Zwigoff on it's a really weird character by the name of Crumb. Robert Crumb. He drew that. He also drew a lot of the Grateful Dead Keep on Trucking cartoons, if you're familiar with those. The guy with the big feet taking a long stride. He did those and others. But the real key to this is not that. The real key to this is the quirkiness of him and his family. It's an odd group, folks. A very odd group, but I think an interesting one to observe. A great documentary. We're talking about 120 minutes. It goes by pretty quickly. Color. Number 3. Number 2. One of my favorite documentaries. I love music stuff anyway. So I think documentaries that have live concert footage in them, to me, is appealing. I had Festival on there. I've got this one on there too for similar reasons. I debated putting this number 1, but it ended up number 2. But any given day, ask me again, it might be number 1. That is the Rolling Stones' "Gimme Shelter." The story of the Stones' Altamont concert, which for many people is also by the Maisels, David and Albert Maisel. They say this might have ended the 60s, put the nail in the coffin of the 60s, and brought us into the 70s. The concert took place in late 1969, I believe, at the Altamont Speedway. Yeah. Took place in December. Great movie, though. Not only does it have the footage of the young man being killed at Altamont by the Hells Angels, who the Stones brought in to protect them and the stage from violence. Instead, a young man got killed by the Hells Angels. But great movie. And the Stones watching that footage and being shocked by it, really good. Number 2. Number 1, I told you I already like music stuff a lot. This is the complete Monterey Pop Festival. It's got everything that you could expect. All the performances from The Who and Simon and Garfunkel and not Peter, Paul, and Mary. I don't think Peter, Paul, and Mary's on this. Janis Joplin and Otis Redding and Jimi Hendrix and all sorts of people. No Bob Dylan on this one, but you got the Byrds, the Mamas and the Papas. That's what I was thinking before. In fact, John Phillips was in charge of this concert, or one of the people in charge of the concert. Complete Monterey Pop. Monterey Pop is one disc, and the other disc is Otis Redding, and then Monterey, and Jimmy Plays Monterey. Great stuff here. Let's show you inside. This is just a makeshift thing I have on it. In fact, I don't even know I want to keep this on it. This material I tend to want to protect. So Monterey Pop has just one disc. Shows Janis Joplin on it. A big thick book, about 70 pages it looks like. Pretty thick. Maybe it's 60, I don't know. Maybe it's about 45. They feel thick though. Lots of pictures. Yeah. Great stuff. Nice article on the festival. And you got a lot of stuff. Are you going to San Francisco? I'm sure. Flowers in Your Hair. Creek Alley and California Dreamin', among others. There's a lot of stuff in here. Ball and Chain by Janis Joplin. Painted Black. My Generation. Wild Thing. A lot of good stuff here. I highly recommend. There's also outtakes on the disc as well. Stuff that didn't make the original, but does make this. Anyway, it's the Monterey Pop Festival. I think it's the best documentary because, again, it's got the performances and the behind-the-scenes stuff as well, showing how it got made, the whole thing, the whole concert, showing people flying in for it and traveling for it. Not as interesting as Woodstock as far as the people in the crowd are concerned, but real interesting as far as the music, how it got put together, and that type of thing. You know what? I'm just going to bag this thing. Unbag it, I should say. Bag. Okay. So again, number 1, 2. This could change tomorrow. 3. This, by the way, this is another fake bag. I could open this up, but I just didn't. But it has been washed a couple times. I do it to protect it. Same with this one. It's got plastic on it, but I could take that out if I wanted to. Kennedy Years. Great Gardens. F is for Fake. Hoop Dreams. For All Mankind. And finally, Festival. That's it. 10 Criterion Collection films that are documentaries, and where I rank them. Might change tomorrow, but here's what it is today. All right, guys, take care, stay safe. Until next time, it's Dean of DVD saying goodbye.